guys, welcome back to my channel. It is so good to see you all again. I have been on a hiatus of soul searching, but on my way back I actually found a product that I really enjoy and I'm really excited to share with you guys. So for today we're going to be going over this particular product, which is the Dr. Dennis Gross All Physical Dark Spot Sun Defense Broad Spectrum Sunscreen SPF 50. And it has a Melanin complex, and it is a sunscreen that is reef safe, which I will discuss a little bit later on what that kind of means. Now, to backtrack to give you guys a little bit more insight on this video, I do have dry, sensitive skin, and when it comes to finding sunscreens, my problem is that I can't find sunscreens that go well with my skin because of the fact that whatever product I put on my face, I do have an issue where it can actually break me out. But with the Dr. Dennis Gross sunscreen, I have actually found myself reaching for it a lot more. So for the review itself, we're going to go over the texture of the product, how well it sits on my face, and I'll give you guys a demonstration of that, as well as a demonstration of what the product looks like on darker skin tones. We're also going to go over some key ingredients that are in the product so you can kind of get a better understanding of how well the product actually works. Alright, so let's go ahead and start with talking about one of my favorite parts about this product in looking for sunscreens is the texture. So the texture is actually one of the highlighted features that I particularly enjoy about this product because it spreads so easily and so smoothly on the face or anywhere else on the body that you would like to be protected from the sun. Currently, I don't have any foundation on, just a little bit of eyeshadow and lipstick, but I will go ahead and show you guys kind of how it sits underneath makeup just to give you a better visual representation of what that looks like. Alright, so this is a before shot of my skin without the sunscreen on. As you can see, I do have pores and I also have some sebaceous filaments on my nose, all which are normal part of the skin. I'm gonna go ahead and place some of the sunscreen on my face, and honestly, a little goes a long way with this particular product. It does spread like a hydrating lotion would. I also really like how it doesn't have any fragrances or that strange sunscreen smell that you get in the drugstore sunscreens. Complexion wise, it gets extra brownie points for giving me a really wonderful glow on the skin without feeling tacky or feel like I have something heavy on top of my face. Now, for those of you who are concerned about a white cast, there's nothing a little bit of foundation wouldn't fix. The sunscreen actually paired really well with my Cover FX Power Play foundation in the color N30. After 8 hours of wear, my coverage didn't break, and actually it looked even better throughout the day. However, if you are a person that doesn't like to use foundation or has a darker skin tone, this is an example of what the sunscreen would look like. You can see it still leaves a slight white cast, but it isn't completely noticeable until you do a side-by-side comparison. This is just like a side note from what we are going to talk about, but I really want to point this out because it is also a factor that played into the role of me purchasing it. I actually really enjoy how this particular sunscreen has like a dark spot like sun defense system. So essentially what that means in their terms as a company is that this is a sunscreen that helps hydrate and provide anti-aging properties, which reduces the appearance of dark spots, uneven skin tone, and the appearance of premature aging around the face. As a result, when I do use this particular sunscreen, my skin overall, after consistent use, I feel like has gone down in redness, and the areas that I do have dark spots, I have noticed kind of decrease on my skin, and I find that quite enjoyable too because the dark spots that I have on my skin are actually from sun damage. So for those of you who don't wear sunscreen, start wearing sunscreen. Okay, so moving on to the next part of this video, which is talking about the ingredients. And this is actually one of my favorite things to really dive deep into when it comes to products, because when you understand the ingredients, you get to understand how well it impacts your skin or if it is a good fit for your skin type. One of the first ingredients that we're going to go over is the isosonal isonanate, and that one is a really interesting ingredient because as I was looking it up, it actually functions as an emollient, which means it's a skin softening ingredient, and because of it, it is at the top of the list. It is most likely an ingredient that is used the most out of all the other ingredients in the formulation. And you know what else is super cool about this ingredient? Is I remember when we talked about in the texture shot that it was not going to give you like a tacky or greasy feel. So isonano 8 is responsible for providing that awesome texture. Okay, so now we're going to move down a little bit further down away from the isosonol isonanate, and as we move down the list towards the back or the side of the box, you'll see that there is an ingredient called tetrahexyldecyl acesorbate. With the tetrahexyl acesorbate, that's basically where it helps come into play with the overall marketing and like functionality of the product, which is the Melic complex. So tetrahexyldecyl acesorbate, it's basically a oil-soluble form of vitamin C. It's a little bit more stable for the skin. It does have the capabilities of doing maybe a little bit better than some of the other types of or variations of vitamin C that's on the market already. Hi guys, so we're gonna get back to the video really shortly. I just wanted to make sure I explained this properly because when I was editing, I wasn't explaining this properly. So anyways, with to wrap up the whole deal with the marketing concept and tetrahexyldecyl acesorbate, with Dr. Dennis Gross's sunscreen, they're basically trying to say in layman's terms, it's like, hey, I'm a sunscreen that protects your face or body or wherever from UVA and UVB damage, and I help even out your skin tone while you're using it, using the Melic complex, which is where the tetrahexyldecyl acesorbate comes in, because part of the Melic complex is using tetrahexyldecyl acesorbate. Okay, back to the video. And when it comes to sodium PCA is basically like a humectant, so it basically offers hydrating properties to the skin. So for those of you who have dry skin like I do, it is a really awesome ingredient to include in your skincare routine. Now keep in mind, when I do talk about these ingredients in this manner, it is really important to understand that yes, they do work well with certain skin conditions, but always be reminded and remember that your skin is different from everybody else's, and sometimes we just have to go through the trial and error. So if you end up using ingredients that doesn't work well for your skin, it's okay, it's normal. We all are different in our own individual ways. Just keep trying, you'll find the one that you're looking for. Now the last ingredient that we're going to talk about before moving on to another matter that's really important in the sunscreen world today, which is being reef safe. We're going to talk about the polyhydroxyl stearic acid, and this is actually like one of the most fascinating ingredients that I've like ever come to read about, because when we're talking about zinc oxide is a powder, and the reason why it's important to understand that it is a powder is that with the use of polyhydroxyl stearic acid, it kind of like imagine this is the zinc oxide, and then this is the polyhydroxy stearic acid. It basically wraps itself around the particle, so then it helps disperse it into the emulsion, aka the sunscreen, a lot easier, so then it has an even amount throughout the product. This is a really cool concept to understand, because if you kind of think about it, for those of you who are gardeners, if you've ever watered like super dry soil, like it's like bone dry, you notice that the water actually floats on top of the surface rather than going into the soil right away. It kind of almost like repels it at first. And this is basically what zinc oxide would do if it didn't have this particular ingredient to help it wrap around. It could work, but it just makes it way easier when you're using the polyhydrostearic acid. So most of you are like, okay, like it's good to know, but like why do I have to know these things, right? So let's go over and do like an overview of like why I picked these things. So with these three ingredients kind of combined in different areas of the formulation list, you'll kind of see and understand that this product will give you a non-greasy feel on the skin, and it'll act as an emollient, so your skin should feel kind of soft and smooth, and it'll also give you brightening properties from the vitamin C, as well as knowing that it'll have different ingredients that help disperse the active ingredient around in the formulation, so you get an even application every single time. So the next part that we're going to talk about that I really enjoy about this particular sunscreen is the concept of it being reef safe. And here you're going to see at the top here, it says reef safe. It's not like an official seal for anything, but it helps consumers basically find and understand the overall product and what it is trying to prevent. So to kind of backtrack and give you guys a very small summary of what that means is with some ingredients, if a sunscreen is saying that it is reef safe, it doesn't directly mean that it is saving the reefs, but it does mean that it doesn't use some particular ingredients that research has shown to be harmful to the coral reefs. And these are some of the ingredients that I'll kind of list to give you guys an overview of what those are. And the interesting part is that last year in 2021, Hawaii actually banned certain sunscreens from being sold in its market because of the fact that it had those ingredients. And I'll put some research articles down at the bottom of the description so you guys can kind of click on it when you guys have the time and if you wanted to kind of research it on your own terms. Now for me personally, I enjoy products that actually are mindful towards the environment or mindful towards how they select their ingredients, because at the end of the day we are all an ecosystem, and if one part of it is off, the whole ecosystem is off. So that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys found it useful and enjoyable. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more beauty related content, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye! Oh, also thank you for 101 subscribers. This is really cool.